Yu with one of those two-color aggro decks we're talking about. And here's where they can actually struggle. He's playing against a solid three-color deck in Frank Karsten's Mardu.
Frank Karsten, another Hall of Famer that we get to watch play Magic here. Both these players sitting at 4-0. We are in game number 3. So we'll take a look at the board state here. Both players look like they just have some lands out there and some full graveyards. So Yu is going to play a mountain. Don't know how much he has going on. He's got himself an Anak Bondkin that he will play. Karsten draws a card for the turn, and he will swing in with the morph. Looks like he's going to unmorph an Anak Tracker.
It's the fearsome Anak Tracker. It gets +1/+1 for the cost of 5 mana.
Hey, if that's your turn, that's your turn. Got to get some more damage in there.
That, I think, is the underwhelming part of that card to me, is you spend a lot of mana and you don't actually get that much.
Yeah. The first strike's great.
It's good, sure.
It's a cost you have to pay to have first strike, but
you're paying a lot for that first strike, but it is first strike. If you have the mana sitting around, sure.
So there will be a trigger here. We're gonna get 3 mana.
Maybe going on a raid here. We have Mardu Horde Chief as well, off the War Streaker.
It's a pretty good turn. Gonna gun up the board a little bit here, will you?
Making 6 power.
Yep.
Yeah, now that first strike looks like it was worth the investment.
War Streaker has been a very impressive card when I've seen it in action. Just being able to play multiple spells in a turn in a more format is so powerful. Here comes the tracker. We were laughing, and it looks good face up now.
Well, it's really hard to block that guy on Ben's board. He could put everything in front of it and hope Frank has no combat tricks. Or he could take 3. It's close.
I'm inclined to wanting to take 3 here if I'm in Ben's spot, but I don't have a great look at his hand at this point. It looked like he's just going to block with the token, and Karsten's just going to pass the turn back. So you will quickly untap, and he will take a draw.
And a card in Ben's hand that I want to talk about a little bit is Briber's Purse. We haven't seen this one in play yet, and this is a card that I think the jury is still out on. The card I wanted to comparing it favorably to would be Tumble Magnet, in that it's a limited use card that makes a guy not be able to attack or block. So it runs out of counters, so how good can it be? It obviously doesn't tap a creature or anything. Some players, I think you always have heard say you always run one, maybe run the second. I've heard a lot of players say you just leave all of them in the board. Ben has one in his hand right now.
I suppose we'll see how good it is in this game 3 against Karsten. Kill shot gonna target the War Streaker, and a Feat of Resistance is going to attempt to counter that. Feat of Resistance, one of the best tricks, if not the best trick in the format at common, will give that creature +1/+1 and protection from white, so Kill Shot will not get the job done.
And it is just one of the best tricks. Not only does it give it 1/1 and protection from white, but it gives it first strike.
Yeah. Arc Lightning will take care of the Anak Tracker there for Karsten.
And that's a card nobody will argue about how good it is.
No.
That's been good every time it's been printed.
Sometimes it hides under the moniker of Flames of the Firebrand, but it's good all the same, as there's an Arrow Storm. Karsten going to play a land, so a bit of an exchange of removal to get some creatures off the board, but once the dust settles, Yu is the one with the creature advantage.
And I do like Briber's Purse on this board as much as, he's going to be able to swing for 4, and Frank with very few blockers. Maybe if he only has 1 blocker, the Purse will be enough. We'll see.
Tormenting Voice going to come down. Of course, that is pay 2 and discard a card to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, it's a take on Wild Guess.
Yeah.
If you played with that card, it's actually different only in that it's 1 in a red instead of double red.
Now here is a morph, so Yu is trying to give the beatdowns. Now, one thing I've been doing now over the course of the weekend is now I check every player's pools that have white mana to see, well, is there an End Hostilities hanging out there for Frank? The answer is no.
So here's something interesting about Ben Yu's list, is that he is running 2 Woolly Loxodons off 2 Blossoming Sands, and that's it.
Wow.
So he's just running 2/2s for 3.
Just some fake morphs, as Karsten will show some black cards, but no black mana. So Ben Yu is going to win this match over the Hall of Famer 2-1, and for Ben and his white-red aggro deck,